Hello there, everybody. I thought it would going to be a good idea to start these oncoming years with the vinyl community with something that I've been talking about doing but haven't gotten around to it, but finally realized that maybe I should do it. A room tour. It's interesting that channels have been coming and going through these years that I've been here, and many of them have showed their rooms, their record rooms, twice or three times. And now, after 7 years, I finally do my room tour. But here it is, finally, and I have my records in the same room as my bedroom, so naturally you will see a bed there. And if you see something that might look messy or something like that, please forgive me, but I tried to make it look as good as possible. So it isn't a big one, and you might have seen parts of it, or should I say many parts of it before in the background, as I have moved my filming position in that room quite a lot through the years. But you haven't seen it in its entirely. So now let's go in and take a look at the rooms where I store my records. Well, very welcome to my little chateau. A lot of records here, as you can see. Where do we begin? Well, why not here? 7-inch singles. This is 7-inch singles from 80s mostly, but some also from early 90s. On top, Eurovision and the Swedish finals to Eurovision, Melodifestival also called. Here, unsorted, and we have here Men Without Hats, Madonna, and we have some Pebbles, Classic Soul, Nia Peoples from Fame, OMD, Alexander O'Neill, and so on and so on. So it's quite a lot of 7 inches. Can go here also, because here we have 7 inches with jazz. I'm not particularly fond of this box, but it works for now. We have Benny Berrigan, also sorted in jazz genres. We have Count Basie, Ellington, Goodman, of course, whole lot of Benny Goodman. And we have some Clifford Brown, Brubeck, Miles Davis, Miles Davis, Miles Davis, Miles Davis, and Miles Davis. This is an EP with songs from Birth of the Cool, and we have also here we have Swedish jazz. We have piano, jazz, piano trio and solo, and swing, of course, Roy Eldridge, and so a whole lot of jazz EPs also. As we're going into the full length, why not start here, because here we have even more singles. I know this desk is pretty horrible, but for now it'll do. I have a hard time finding a new one that actually fits records and also can get into this small room, because it isn't a biggest room. So for now it'll do. But it's okay to store records in. Here we have Swedish Schlager, 60s and 70s Swedish music. Never could imagine when I started to collect this that there would be all this many. I think it's around 18 boxes or bags, single bags, with one exception. It's this one. This is the VCLT I got from Rob Walker, the singles I got from Rob Walker that I put in a place of their own. But otherwise we have this. I have done some own indexes so you can see what's in here. And we have also some empty that either called away or moved to the box for Swedish and Swedish final in Eurovision. Gunnar Wiklund, classic Swedish singers, Anita Lindblom, Carly Tonhave, trumpet player Arne Lambert, Kjell Hansson, Ita Boy, and so on. So, Swedish comedy, or comedy overall, but mostly Swedish comedy stuff. And here we have also some kind of comedy, but unwillingly comedy. This is my little box of cult singles that are songs that are so bad that they actually are funny, because you know I love these. Some classic Swedish wrestler Frank Anderson, some celebrities that should never have been entering a record studio, like Charlie Tilton from Dallas, Mary Stavin, some real cult classics, a Swedish Donald Duck single from the 60s, horrible acting, and some cult stuff. As you can see, here is also some 78s and 78 sleeves, and we have some more here. So let's go inside here, and once we now go into the full length, this is my collection of 80s soul. We have some great stuff here. We have Jeffrey Osborne, Pebbles, Teddy Pendergrass, 5 Star, Randy Crawford of course, Chaka Khan of course, George Benson of course. Here we have soundtracks, Swedish comedy, and Hammond, easy listening Hammond organ music. This is 80s, other 80s records. You can see there 80s disco, synth and new wave. And 80s disco is mostly Euro dance or Stock Aitken Waterman, or house, some house also of course, 80s house. Here is synth and new wave. ABC, we have of course Depeche. My Depeche collection is here. Of course Duran Duran, Human League, Howard Jones, OMD, Pet Shop Boys, and so on. And here comes 80s rock. Which you can see here is some Bangles. We have Bryan Adams, we have Alarm, Steve Lukather, Heart, Outfield, some Rat, and so on. And as we go down, here is also 80s pop with that is not connected to rock or synth pop or so. We have Cars, we have Chicago, we have House Martins, Billy Joel, Nick Kershaw, Madonna, of course, Level 42, of course, Icelandic group Mezzo Forte. We have Rick Ocasek, Pseudo Echo, and so on. Paul Simon. Down here, Swedish 80s. And we have Swedish synth group Fake. Agneta Fältskog from ABBA. And Roxette, of course. So 80s pop. Those that I have listened to. Here we have jazz. All of this is jazz. So a lot of I showed them in a 5-part series, as you might remember. So a big band, bop, piano, Hammond, my entire Jimmy Smith collection is here. We have Sarah Vaughan here, of course. Les Young. A lot of great stuff. If you're moving here, it's also jazz, but this is jazz that I haven't listened to yet, for various reasons. Also, even the unlistened records are sorted in different styles and genres. So if I'm in kind of mood that I want to listen to that, I can go on and pick it out. But I'll show these also in my 5-part video. This is 80s and 90s unlistened on vinyl. Rod Stewart, we have Danish Sanne Salomonsen, we have Nena, German Nena, Mike and the Mechanics, a live concert with Elton John, more Elton John, and we have a live concert with Jean-Michel Jarre, Corey Hart, and so on. And of course more further down, soul and disco and new wave and so on. So this shelf is just records that I haven't listened to yet, but I'm working on it. I think it's getting faster to listen to new records now than it did a couple of years ago. So I'm getting through them actually. And as you can see, more unlistened here. This is records that have been in here for a while. This is new bought records that I have bought just recently. 1 year, 1.5 year, and forward until today. So the closest, I guess that easy to pick out the stuff that are recently bought at first. Also, they are also sorted in genre orders in some kind. There, the box there is just 70s. We have jazz there, 80s pop and Swedish and so on, soul. So I have some to go through, but I guess we all have. Let's move on to this shelf. This is my shelf for 70s and a small section of 60s also, but 70s mostly. and they are sorted in two styles: 80s pop with is, pop rock, but also singer-songwriters. And here a section only for 70s soul. So here we have Chicago, we have Deep Purple, and we have of course my Carole King collection, JorgenS and Messina, Gilbert O'Sullivan, and of course my Chicago collection, and soul with George Benson 70s, Commodores, Earth, Wind and Fire, Thelma Houston, Ron Banks and the Dramatics, Isaac Hayes, Jacksons, and of course Curtis. We have Rolls Royce. So 70s soul from here and down. Moving to the CD section, we have here this, and all the way there is jazz, with exception from this little part that are some mixed. I have my MPB Brazilian here also, and if I'm going to keep finding those Brazilian music that I've been doing now for quite some time, I might do another, find another place for them, because they're growing, with Elise Regina, Baden Powell, and so on. But I also have some soundtracks on CD here. Mission Impossible original with Lalo Schifrin, a compilation with James Bond, when we have a few ambient records also. So, but the rest here is jazz in various styles. And I haven't done any genre sorting when it comes to jazz CDs, mostly because it's a little hard with these kind of racks to do that. Because if I would have sorted big band ones and the bebop ones and swing and so on, it would be almost impossible to, if I'm going to sort in, then I have to move each and every one of them down to just to have one in. So at the moment they are just sorted under jazz, nothing more, nothing less. But we have a lot of big bands, you can see here. Maybe I will do a showing of my jazz CDs, as I did with the jazz vinyls also. Coleman Hawkins, we have Lars Gullin, Swedish, Count Basie. We have Miles, Kind of Blue, Sketches of Spain, Oscar Peterson, Charlie Barnett, Art Tatum. So a whole lot of jazz here. And here is my collection of Past Perfect Silverline, as I mentioned before. Although I don't buy that much of these one today, mostly because I feel I have what I need, and I also have very little space left for more Past Perfect. So I think that I put more energy to original albums instead of these. But they're great, no doubt. Going here, up here is my box sets. Coleman Hawkins, Art Tatum, Lionel Hampton, Jimmy Smith, and I also have Deep Purple, very mixed here, Bruce Springsteen, the brand new Heavies box set that I showed in my vinyl tag. I also have an opera here. It is Verdi's Troubadour, and I have it for one reason only, and that is because that is the opera that is featured in the Marx Brothers A Night at the Opera, my favorite movie of all time. So of course I wanted to have that one entirely, and it's recorded in 1939. Here, those first two here are OOs, records from the OOs. Although many are, of course, records from older artists, newer records by older artists from the OOs. New records from Aha, Kylie, George Michael, Pretenders, Duran Duran, and so on. But also some Britney Spears. I have Weezer down there, and Röyksopp, Jarvis Cocker, and so on. Here I have a special place for CDs by giant artists that spans over many decades. Let's take a look at this, for instance. Bruce Springsteen over there. Bruce Springsteen have had his peak during so many decades. Should I put it in 70s, 80s, even 90s? So there are many that have been having their career peaks during many, spanning over many decades. So I decided to put them in a place of their own, compilations. Here we have synth pop, new wave and synth pop. In this erasure we have Jean-Michel Jarre, OMD, Pet Shop Boys, Ultravox, and of course Depeche Mode, my Depeche Mode on CD. More Depeche Mode. We have really great stuff. Jean-Michel Jarre, of course, Human League. So this is synth pop. Here and all the way up there we have soul CDs with Janet Jackson, with Jamiroquai, with Misha Paris, with Prince, with Shalamar, Shanice, Luther Vandross, Jodie Watley, you name it. And down here, Swedish music with ABBA, with Ace of Base, Cardigans. We have some really great stuff here. Clubland, Eldkvarn, one of my favorites, and of course further down Peter Lemark, another one of my favorites. Whole lot of Swedish. And as you can see, Swedish are one of the genres that I actually have space for. But it's a culling coming soon around the corner for the year 2021. So let's go over here. This is the CDs with CDs that I haven't listened to yet, and they are a little bit unsorted because here I have CDs that are sorted in alphabetic order. These are CDs that I have bought 1.5 years and back and forward until today, and that I haven't sorted into letters yet. I guess I'm having a naive thought that I will go through these one day first. But of course, when I have listened to a CD here, I move them into the correct genre. But it's getting. I'm listening more to CDs right now, so I think it's getting better and better right now. Also, when it comes to listening to these, going through these that have been here for a while. Here we have CD singles. You might remember that I have shown when I put this in these shelves in a previous video many years back. We have some Norwegian Dina, of course, Depeche singles. And we have smithereens. We have a lot of stuff here from 90s mostly and forward. This is dance music, 90s and 00s dance music, mostly 90s. But Euro disco, trance, Euro trance, even some house, big beat, Fatboy Slim, Sush, Hathaway, Fragma, U96 of course. And down here a little section with 70s CDs. I don't have all that much CDs from the 70s. I collect mostly them on vinyl. 80s. 80s CDs, which contains a lot of also. No, sorry, 90s. These are 90s. Sorry, 90s. I had 80s here before, but I moved them around a bit, so confusing. But 90s with REM. We have Oasis. My Oasis collection is here. We have also a lot of 80s artists with lesser known 90s stuff, Suede. My entire Britpop collection here, and so on. So 90s stuff. And if we move here we have the 80s. And a lot of these are compilations by artists that actually had their career in the artist, or their most famous career in the 80s, and nothing else. But also, of course, pure 80s albums. We have a lesser known New Order live, 87. Stevie Nicks live, 1986. Radio recordings released on CD. We have REM and Toto. We have Lloyd Cole, Nick Kershaw, and we have Heaven 17, and so on. But of course, also here I have a bit more on the vinyl. Since 80s vinyl are so easy, of course I buy them in first hand. They're so easy to find. Some might wonder about these framed albums. Well, first of all, there of course are duplicates. They're not the originals. And there you have another one. The meaning of these are that these are records from genres that have meant most to me through the years, that have built my collection through the years. We have 10cc, How Dare You, representing the 70s. We have a Benny Goodman album representing jazz. We have Andy Shin, L'Aventure, I think it is pronounced. My French is a little rusty. This is French 80s new wave, so this is call it combined 80s and synth pop new wave. And this is German Euro techno band U96 representing the 90s. So these are the genres that have meant most to me during my life. So that is why I have these albums framed here. Well, take a last look at my room. You might wonder, why do I have two lamps? Well, these are for streams, live streams. One lamp there and the other one I put on top of the printer. Then hopefully I can be shown a little bit better.
For those of you who wonders, the light isn't all that bad, but the problem is normally when I am on live streams, it's dark outside, and the lamp in the ceiling are a bit further away, so it's a little bit darker when I'm using the webcam. So it's not much that I can do about it, unfortunately. But I hope that this was good anyway, so you can see it. You can see a brand new CD rack here that I bought yesterday. Pretty cheap, but needed. So I plan for the future. So with that, I hope that every one of you takes care in the winter, the cold winter as it is right now. So take care, everybody, and see ya.